hip hop soul and the crowd react.
All right, everybody, welcome back into the Rob and Stu Show here live to you on the Pulse Sports Network. Folks, big week last week. Shout out to everybody who hopped on the YouTube, went to Pulse Sports Network, checked out Our Ugly Mugs, Nikki the Boss Tamro, Mike Maloney. Thank you to those gentlemen for stopping out by. Yeah, beautiful people. Can't wait to see them in October. But yeah, all our shows, we're posting them there for YouTube. In case you want to hear our voices, see our faces. I mean, we have faces for YouTube. I mean, that's what I've been told.
Wow, that's true. Faces for radio, as some might say.
Yeah. This is going to be down and dirty. I mean, this is...
No, there's going to be MFs in this. There's no
this is not for around the kids. This is we're talking draft now. Okay,
put the women and children to bed. This is the draft. I mean, I've been working on this since last April. I've been dreaming about it ever since that beautiful bastard Howie Roseman made that trade with New Orleans to get their pick this year. I mean, listen, February 12th will go down in infamy for me. But I mean,
and I'm a Lions fan.
Myself back up. You know,
I'm a Lions fan. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah. You guys are the new stars of the NFC. Listen, they might be favorites going into the season.
They are going to be favorites.
Yeah, they're favorites to win the North. They might even overtake.
2 years old the last time we won the division. Okay.
Yeah, it's hyped up. You're hyped up. You're ready. You ordered a brand new Jared Goff jersey. But listen, the draft is here. This is one of the most exciting times of the year for me. I love it. You know, you don't have many great things in your life after you're 30. I mean, let's be honest. After you're 21, the shit goes downhill. Shit goes downhill. You know, there's not many great things to look forward to. Am I right?
Well, after this, I think I'm gonna go suck starter shotgun. That just sounds way to liven this party up. Let's talk draft. You're a big draft weirdo. You have a book, men's pictures in there. Yeah, psychotic. I mean, you need to seek treatment. Yeah, you can see.
Psychotic.
The folks can see the notebook.
Dane Brugler's draft guide came out yesterday. The Beast. I'm all about. I mean, listen, I love this time of year. I love thinking about these prospects and what they can be. Half of them turn out to be dog shit. Really, these drafts are won in the middle rounds. But listen, the first round is what gets all the hype. It's what gets all the excitement, the mock drafts. You know, everybody's going to improve their team in 2 weeks from 2 weeks from Thursday. So let's get into it right here. First pick up is Carolina. The books moved it today to Bryce Young being the favorite. Some shows that me and Stu listen to have been on Bryce Young since the beginning. Alabama fans still have a pitchfork for Stu for his Bryce Young takes 2 years ago.
Yeah,
people were
clown.
Threatened. That's all I'll say. People were threatened.
Clown show. Here's a question, and I agree. We're lockstep. Bryce Young is going to be the top pick, right? Now, if Caleb Williams was in this draft, if Drake May was in this draft, I don't know.
Martin Harrison Jr. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that next year, buddy. Hold your horses. But
okay,
if Bryce Young was 6'2", do you think the Bears trade out of the first pick?
No. They would be picking. They would be picking Bryce Young if it wasn't for his size. But they get a chance to get a haul of picks, and you hope Fields can take that Hurts-like step, and that's what you got to hope for.
I think Bryce Young will be a serviceable quarterback. I think he will. I worry a little bit too much that he needs to move around. He has to create. He has to be in space and has to have some things break down. But
they have a good offensive line, Carolina. One thing they do, their offensive line is decent.
Mechanically, I mean, I think he's the right pick. He is the best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah. Second pick up here, Houston Texans. Listen, we all know what it's going to be. It's going to be Young one. It's going to be Stroud two. Even though
Is
I'm a
it?
Levis guy, I'm a Levis.
Is
Oh
it?
yeah, they're trying to put out that fluff today that they're not certain. If they don't
No,
take a
but think
quarterback,
about it. Think about it. Think about it.
okay.
Is CJ Stroud that great of a QB prospect? I guess it depends on how
The odds are against him. The odds are against him being an Ohio State guy. That offense does not translate to the NFL.
D'Amico's got 6 years. He's got that 6-year deal, and you know they're going to suck. With Stroud, without Stroud, you got Case Keenum and Davis Mills III. I kind of look at it like, I think there's going to be a lot of teams that want to get Stroud here. I don't think Houston keeps the pick. I think they trade out because they're going to have the number 1 pick next year, and I'd much rather have Caleb Williams than CJ Stroud. And I think I'd even rather have Drake May than CJ Stroud.
Well, you love Drake May.
There's a lot to like there.
Here's the thing with Stroud. There's flashes. 2 years ago in a game in Indiana, he made an incredible throw in between two cornerbacks and a safety that was incredible. He had the big championship game versus Georgia. He was lights out. There's flashes with him. There really is. He hasn't put it all together. It hasn't been perfect. There's been a lot of ups. There's been a lot of downs. They look to the sidelines a lot when they get plays. There's things to knock about his game. He did have an elite receiver group, but they always do at Ohio State. I think he has I think he has a big arm. I think he has a good enough arm. It's can he read defenses? Can he take that step to the next level? I don't really know what kind of offense the Texans are going to run. I would be surprised if the Texans traded out, but you never know. Teams get desperate. Teams fall in love with these quarterbacks.
I have them trading out or picking somebody not CJ Stroud.
Okay, but the team that trades up is taking Stroud.
I think so. Yeah, it has to be.
He's going to be the second quarterback taken. Let's move it along here to Arizona. Now, a lot of buzz that Arizona is going to be moving this pick. I think they're just trying to drum up interest. Listen, there's been, now as we get 2 weeks away from the draft, let's rip up and tear the top players in this draft. Was he flashy last year? No. Will Anderson is the safest defensive end to take, in my opinion. Does he have this tremendous upside like a Van Ness? I don't think so. I think you're getting a steady football player. I don't think he's a star. I just think he's a really solid, going to be a really solid defensive end. Do I think he's Von Miller? No. I do think he can be good, though. I mean, he doesn't have to be a superstar. As long as he's consistent, solid, you don't have to worry about him off the field. He's going to bring his game to the NFL level. He's a day 1 starter. He's the 3rd pick off the board for me.
I could totally see somebody trading up to get Jalen Carter here. I think Jalen Carter's the best defensive player in the draft. Bobcat's upset with me about that.
No doubt about that. Bobcat's upset about everything.
Yeah. That fat piece of shit, he's going to eat himself out of the league. Okay?
Yeah, we Stu's buddy Bobcat, my buddy too. I mean, he's anybody from Georgia he hates because he's an Alabama fan. So
that fat piece of shit, he can't even run. He's slower than molasses. But I think you look at the tape, you got to ask yourself what happened. 2021, he was dominant. I mean, let's just call he should have been in New York and probably should have been holding up the Heisman Trophy.
He was that good.
He was dominant. Last year, Bobcat will tell you, oh, he's on a pitch count. Oh, they were saving him to the tune of 52 points against Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, at a certain point, show me the tape from this past season where he dominated the line of scrimmage and changed the game.
Yeah, his play this year. No, you're right. His play this year did not jump off the page.
No, really I'm not saying he's not good. He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good. But if you're taking a D end at 3 here, you got to have a guy that grades out like all pro caliber type guy. Same thing with Hutchinson last year. That was my big when we were doing this show last year.
Yeah, I would put Will on that kind of level. Yes,
yeah, I think he's going to be good and productive and a solid player for you. given the right scheme and setup and all that good. I think he'll be solid.
Yeah, no. He's
Am
not Lawrence
am I
Taylor.
trading
mean,
up to get him at 3? If I'm the Cardinals, if I can get somebody to try and trade up to get Carter, who depending
that's
on
why
how
they're
much
trying to
you
drum
like
up
him,
interest.
yeah,
That's why they're
depending
trying
on
to
how
drum
much
it
you
up.
like him, I guess here, I think it's going to end up being Jalen Carter. I think somebody trades up to get him because he's going to get taken very quickly. And I think a lot of teams, Will Anderson, Miles Murphy, who we'll get to, Van Ness, even on some of these boards. I mean, there's guys up there. So I'm going to go Jalen Carter here.
All right, we'll move along to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, listen, in this spot here, if the Colts stay here, if they don't move up, they're taking a quarterback. If it was my choice, it'd be Will Levis. I think Will Levis is the third best quarterback in this draft. Stu and everybody in draft Twitter hates his guts, but I love his arm. I love his arm, the way the ball comes out of there. I love it. I always liked him at Kentucky. I always thought he was good. He had a bad senior season. I'm not going to lie. His senior season left
Have
a
you
lot to
seen
be
this
desired.
guy in shorts?
His last season is a lot like Justin Herbert's. Justin Herbert's had the same knock. That's why Herbert slipped to the 6th or 7th pick in the draft. That's why Tua went above him. Herbert, the same exact thing. I think that's who Will Levis could be. I think Levis has that kind of arm strength. He gets in the right system. Shane Steichen coming over from the Eagles. I like the mix there for Levis. Right there, it's between Levis and Richardson. Who's your pick between Levis and Richardson for third best quarterback in this draft?
Bailey Zappi. That's going to be my pick.
Seriously,
between the two of them, I think Levis, you're hoping to get a poor man's version of Josh Allen. Realistically, Levis can run a little bit. He can. Amazing.
He's more
shape.
fragile than Josh Allen.
When you're wearing shorts and out in the summer sun, Will Levis is unbelievable. I mean, he'll throw it 75 yards on a rope. In a game, that don't happen. If he strikes me as a Trubisky type, and Lombardi said this too, if things don't go right, if go exactly according to plan like they did in practice, you're in trouble. Go look at the tape from this year. Go look at the games. You don't even have to watch the tape. Go look at the stat lines.
It wasn't great. His O-line was terrible. Rodriguez missed a bunch.
I don't want to hear.
They lost Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah, Wan'Dale Robinson's gone. So that's complete.
Well, they lost a lot of Kentucky. They did. Just remember when Will Levis is a good quarterback in the NFL. Robbie told you.
Okay, right, you buy up those rookie cards, buddy.
Seattle Seahawks from the Denver Broncos. Let Russ cook. They end up with the 5th pick in this draft. This is such an interesting and pivotal point in this draft because to me, you're going to have 3 quarterbacks taken by this point. Now, they're in a spot here. They have 2 first-round picks. Their defense still needs work. Their offense still needs work. How long can Geno be that quarterback? To me, Geno's the perfect bridge quarterback. I don't think he's a franchise guy. I think they're either going to take Richardson or Levis here. I really do. Maybe you think they're going to take a defensive player. I see you shaking that beautiful bald head of yours. I think they take a quarterback here too.
And I'll apply the same thing I did with Levis. Go show me what's so special about AR-15. We're not running the Olympics now. This isn't the 400-meter hurdles. Okay. Go show me. Pick out the play. He makes some really good plays, but if
the Utah game.
Okay, so he ran a lot over a really piss poor defense.
I mean, there were some plays in that Utah game.
Okay, what happened the rest of the season?
Wow,
what happened the next week?
Well, his college tape isn't beautiful. It's very up and down.
He's got the capability of making really cool plays.
Yes.
And if could possibly maybe should be what have you, he could be something in 2 to 4 years. But you got to remember, if you're taking Richardson, you need to really revamp exactly what your offense is. This is not a guy you just plug into your system and you're good to go.
Well, I mean,
it needs to be a completely different offense.
Pete Carroll, Russell. That's how Russell Wilson was when he started off, just a runner, rough around the
The
edges.
hell are you talking about?
He was a runner.
You weren't in the Big Ten when Russell was cooking up in Madison.
Oh, listen, Russell cooked us when he was at North Carolina State as a freshman.
But Russell could throw. Russell always could throw.
Yeah, that's true.
So I
Give
know
you that.
with Richardson, you're gonna in the NFL, he is glorified Cordero Patterson. That's what he is. He's gonna be a running back that
Cordell
can
Stewart.
toss the ball a little bit.
Slash. Yeah, no. He's a wild prospect. He's a guy I could see dropping out of the top 10. He's a guy I could see going as high as 2.
I'll
People
tell you
have
what.
such varying opinions.
For me personally, Levis and Richardson outside my first round.
Well,
Both.
you hate quarterbacks, so listen.
Well, you if you're gonna make a play on a quarterback,
Yeah.
I'm all for it, but it's got to be a smart play. I don't like either of them.
Up
In
next-
fact, I like Hendon Hooker above both of them, but he's
Here
coming
we
up,
go.
I'm sure.
Here we go. His
I like
draft
Carter
stock
here.
is-
I like Carter here if he's still available. I don't think he's getting to
The Motor City Kitties with the pick from the Rams. Forward down the field.
ineptitude that will not yield. Sell
There you
the team finally. Yeah, the Lions. I don't know. Fun trade. It's always fun when you trade your number 3 overall pick from 2 years ago for a box of Entenmann's and some tickets to see Journey. That's realistically what we got.
They got their ring, but I mean, at what cost? Yeah, I know. I mean, listen, but they got the ring, so I guess it's worth it. I don't know.
What ring? Who got a ring?
The Rams, I'm saying.
Oh, no. I was talking about the Okuda trade.
Oh, yeah, the Okuda trade today. Yeah.
No. The Rams made that's a great trade. Everybody wins in that trade.
And the Lions won too with that trade. What did they care
Yeah.
to keep?
No, it's great. Everybody won. One of the few NFL trades that worked out for everybody.
Yeah,
Here,
both teams win.
the pick is Will Anderson or Jalen Carter if available. I don't see them going to corner. They just got 3 corners in free agency. The trade today was their number 3 corner. That does not necessitate the fact that
Okay.
they're not going corner.
Christian Gonzalez is a freaking stud. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Corners
He's a stud.
always sit inside the top 10 when you take them.
He's a stud.
It's going to be D-line here. It needs to be D-line here. For our purposes, I'll just go with Van Ness from Iowa, who I really love when you can see the tape against some of these guys that are big-time O-line prospects. Van Ness just destroyed him. I think you question, and we've talked about this before, why didn't he start at Iowa? He was a rotational guy.
No, it's a knock. It's a knock.
You could go Tyree Wilson here too. I think the foot issue is a little bit concerning, but between the two of them, it's got to be D-line here. So I'm going a D-line pick. I'll take Van Ness.
Yeah, he's going to go somewhere around there. I mean, he's too good of a football player. I think you're right. I mean, the Lions need to get it up front. The Lions need somebody for Hutchinson to go with. I think it's the perfect opportunity to get somebody like that. I could also see them taking a quarterback. I know I had to, basically hang up the phone on you when I told you that. You started screaming and yelling at me and
But
saying
what
mean
sense
things
does it
about
make?
New Jersey.
All we did was trade our number 3 cornerback. Are you telling me I can't replace that? I can't
These are
replace
two
that.
special. I think they're two special players in Gonzalez and Witherspoon from Illinois.
We just spent $40 million on secondary.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's not
I know.
special. That's special to
Oh,
me.
listen. Yeah. Well, listen. We'll move
The
along
Lions
here.
will fuck it up. The Lions will fuck it up. Watch Mitch Mayer be the pick here.
Yeah,
Those
they'll fuck it up.
bums.
The Las Vegas Raiders. We'll keep it moving here. This is an interesting spot. This could be a Hayden Hooker spot. You never know. I mean,
Are
listen.
you fucking high?
Yeah, well, you never know. You never know.
I hope
Listen,
they're
this is a
drug testing.
Belichick disciple. This is a Belichick disciple. They're prone to do anything at the fucking draft. The draft doesn't mean anything to them. They draft guys they like. They don't care what anybody
You're
says.
just saying words at this point. You're just
No,
saying words.
you
You're
just
putting them
never
in.
know, man. You never know. He drafted Tebow in Denver. What would stop him from taking Hooker?
Ah, I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair. He drafted
Yeah.
Tebow.
Listen, the Raiders truly need offensive line help. They need defensive help. They need help all over. This is a spot I could see Van Ness going. This is a spot I could see Paris Johnson going, to be honest with you. For the mock draft purposes, I'm going to say Paris Johnson goes here. I think they need a lot of help on that offensive line. You got Garoppolo. You don't want to get him hit. Obviously, he's not good when you get arms on, you get any kind of body parts on him, he gets injured. But to me, this is an offensive tackle spot for the Raiders.
I wouldn't hate it. I absolutely wouldn't hate it. D line's in play here too.
Tyree Wilson.
Yeah, I think so. For some reason I just see him fitting here.
Yeah.
I know he visited last week.
He's a top 10 player. I worry about his foot injury, but he's definitely a top 10 player. The Atlanta Falcons. Yeah. The Atlanta Falcons, I mean, here's another team. They've bolstered the defense with all these free agents. Now, will they, play well? The free agents is another question. They spent a lot of money in the secondary. To me, they still need help on their defense. They still need help on their offensive line. I don't like either of them going, in those kind of spots. So, I mean, as far as their depth and their roster. So I think this is a spot where you might see a Witherspoon, even though they spent all this money on cornerback. So this might be a spot where you see a Myles Murphy.
See, this is where I think Paris Johnson goes.
Okay.
I think this is where you see your first O lineman coming up. I mean, look, we're not there to protect Desmond Ridder. We're not there to protect Mariota. It's whoever's going to be the follow-on to those guys. Should have been Lamar Jackson, but that's another conversation. But yeah, I'll take Paris Johnson with the Falcons. They need somebody.
Next up, the Bears after the trade. Chicago spent a lot of money in free agency, brought in Edmonds, TJ Edwards. I mean, they've spent all kinds of money on that defense. This is another spot I could see them taking. Maybe I think Skoronski falls out of the top 10 because I think he plays guard. But this is a spot I could see him going. What's that?
You're not going to take the Bears aren't going to pick the hometown kid from Northwestern.
Yeah, they might. I think he's a touch below out of the top 10, honestly, but he is a really good player. And you know what it is in the draft? Anybody could say you wasted a pick or you shouldn't have picked this high, shouldn't have picked this low, yada, yada, yada.
What's the big knock on Skoronski? What's the big knock?
Short arms.
Alligator arms. And so if it's not going to work out at left tackle, you got yourself a guard.
Oh, he's going to play guard. He's playing guard in the NFL.
I have a problem if you're going to take a guard this high.
Yeah.
Obviously tackle's the position you want. You can try him at tackle, but don't work out. So be it. I think they have to go offensive. You have to protect Justin Fields. You have to do something to help him. Mm-hmm. I actually, you know what? Paris Johnson is like barely my number one. I actually think Darnell Wright, the Tennessee offensive tackle, I think he would. If I was picking for the Bears, I would slot him in here. I think there's some really great tape on him. And mind you, he just got done playing for a guy that was get the ball, run around, make stuff happen. So I would like a guy like that more in my offense with Justin Fields.
Yeah. I think offensive line as well. Next up, the greatest franchise in NFL history, the Philadelphia Eagles. Masters of the draft.
The Chiefs aren't picking here, Rob. The Eagles are. The Eagles.
Oh, you son of a bitch. A team that never misses in the draft, has never made a mistake, has never passed on Justin Jefferson. They just don't make mistakes, this team. Listen, Andy Reid's philosophy going back to 99 when he got the job was if you're in the top 10, it's O-line, it's D-line, or it's quarterback. Anything other than that, not worth the top 10 pick. It'll be interesting to see how he does. He's a wheeler and dealer. If I had to put my true money down on it, I think Van Ness is their kind of guy. Um, they want a defensive end, defensive tackle. Maybe they reach and take a cornerback here. Robinson, everybody loves because he's the flashy running back. I can't see them doing that at 10. I could see it if he traded back a couple spots and he added some picks and then he added them. But I don't know, man. This is a weird spot to be in. It's a weird spot to have a Super Bowl team, even though we friggin' lost, to come in and have a top 10 draft pick. So, I don't know if they package something up and they try to go get an edge rusher high, or this is another interesting point in this draft. It really is. If I had to put my money down, I'm going to say it's Van Ness.
Okay, I mean, assuming he's still here, that would make sense. I'm with you. I would call. I think they go corner. If there's a corner here, if Gonzalez or Witherspoon, I could see him going corner here, because you look at Slay, you look at Bradbury. They're not getting younger. We're not catching them.
No,
these are.
I would have let Slay walk.
Yeah,
I would have let Slay walk. I would have rather paid Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, to be honest with you. But listen,
and for me, honestly, Rob, I'm a guy that I hate taking corners this high, but I think if you have enough value and you're at like 10, 9, 10, 11, okay, maybe you can start thinking about it, because the highest value positions have already, in theory, been picked over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. More than likely, he trades out and he adds picks. We don't have a ton of picks this year. We have a shitload next year. Or I've read in a lot of places that he might try to move up to try to get an edge rusher. It's going to be really interesting. I'll be at the Link draft night, so it'll be a.
Oh, baby. Are we going to have on-site reports?
Yeah, we're going to have on-site reports. Yes.
I'm looking forward to those video recordings.
Me from Lincoln Financial Field. Interesting spot here at 11 with Tennessee. This is a team kind of stuck with Tannehill, kind of in transition. They just lost Taylor Lewan, their left tackle. So this is another spot I could see an offensive lineman going. Even a wide receiver. I could see from Ohio State, Jesus Christ, JSN, Smith-Njigba. Yeah, miracle I got that name right. But this is a spot I could see him going. This is another spot I could see Hayden Hooker. I mean, there's a couple different options here.
You're just all about.
What do you think?
Hendon Hooker.
I'm not, but he's getting a ton of draft buzz.
That's great. Fine. Before this first round's out, I'll talk to you about it. Look, it's got to be offensive line here. If it's JSN, I mean, assuming they still have the pick, I think there's a really good argument to be made that they trade up and try to get involved with CJ Stroud.
I could see that.
If you draft JSN here, I mean, how are you getting him the ball? A jugs machine? Maybe you could find the one that took out Stuart Scott's eye. Because Ryan Tannehill ain't throwing it to you.
Come on, man. Jesus.
What?
We're having a nice family show here.
Oh, what'd I say? Tannehill? Something about Tannehill? Anyway.
Yeah, something nasty.
Yeah. But look, I don't get it. I don't see it with Tannehill. Get an offensive lineman. You got a nice solid crop of tackles. I think that'll be, playable, usable. If assuming Paris Johnson's gone, assuming Darnell Wright's gone, who would make a ton of sense here as well. Broderick Jones, maybe he's in play here.
Next up, the Houston Texans. This spot here, I see wide receiver. This is where I see Quentin Johnson going. Quentin Johnson's kind of a hot topic, in my opinion, in a lot of draft Twitter. He's a big wide receiver. He's had some stellar games for TCU. Now, listen, the Georgia game's going to stand out to a lot of people because he was terrible in that game. A lot of eyes on that game. Not even that he was terrible. I mean, listen, Georgia just waxed the floor with them. Sorry, Bobcat. But they did. They waxed the floor with him. You know, he had what do you have in the game? I don't even think he had one catch in the game. So I feel like draft Twitter kind of went after him after that. But I do feel like he's a top 25 player. I really do. It's not a great draft class. Now, Addison, I love. Addison is my wide receiver one, but they killed him at the combine. His combine was terrible. You know, they don't like his get off on the line of scrimmage. They hated his 40 time. So I think Addison's going to go low one, early two. Personally, I would take Addison here, but I think Quentin Johnston's going to be the pick. That's the buzz to me.
I don't think Quentin Johnston's a pick at all.
Okay.
I think you see a tight end picked here.
Okay.
And I think that tight end is not from a Catholic school. I think that's probably Dalton Kincaid. I think out of all the tight ends, I think that's a guy that can.
That's a reach.
He reminds me most like. Well, if they have Dalton Schultz, this could be a great pair. Maybe not tight end. Actually, no. Looking at who's next, it's not going to be tight end. Hell, I don't know. I don't think they're going wide out. They got to do something defensively. Look, corner's going to be on the board. I'll take corner because they did sign Dalton Schultz for the 1 year. Talk about one of the worst offseason plays is Dalton Schultz trying to hustle $12 million out of the Cowboys, declining it, and then signing for $6 million with the Texans.
Not great, Bob. Not great.
Hate to see it.
Tough scenes. Next up on the board, the Jets. This is going to be an interesting pick. It really is. Do they give it up for Rodgers? I don't think they do. I honestly think you see the Jets stay to the offensive line or defensive line. Kalijah Kancey's a player I love. A lot of people are knocking his arm size. They don't think it's good enough for the NFL to be an earlier first round pick, I would say, a top 20 player. I do. I mean, you turn on the film of this guy, he's an absolute monster inside. I mean, he's a terror. He gets a lot of Aaron Donald comparisons because they both played at Pitt. I mean, come on, he's not the player Aaron Donald was, but I think he is a really good player. I think he's a top 20 guy. And he had a lot of production. One thing about Joe Douglas, when his time in Philadelphia, he was big in the draft with production. That's what he always wanted to see. I think Kancey is right up there, or Broderick Jones. I think they're both going to stick to the lines here.
Yeah, I think Broderick Jones might be available here. I quite like Osiris Torrance. Transferred from Louisiana over to Billy Napier, and he was all first team Sun Belt. Saw him with the Raging Cajuns. Really good player. A huge reason why Levi Lewis was phenomenal for the Cajuns. Comes over to Florida, and I thought he acquitted himself really well. Go watch him against Jalen Carter. He's one of the very few that really had a solid game against them. So I could see that here. Also, I keep an eye out on Myles Murphy. If he's still out there, I think Myles Murphy deserves a long look for the Jets here.
Yeah, I like Myles Murphy. I really like his get off. Pause. I really do, though. I like his get off. He's quick to the quarterback. A lot of draft Twitter seems to not like the way he uses his hands, but to me, he can get there, which is half the battle. He has some downs where he gets beat, but that's typical for a defensive tackle. I really like Myles Murphy. I mean, most people had him in the top 10 in the whole pre-draft process during the season, and then all of a sudden, after the championship games, he kind of seemed to fall out of love.
I think a lot of that has to do with Clemson, and there's these underlying things like the tape will tell you one thing, and then all the prognosticators will talk to you about, hey, Will Levis eats bananas raw. He puts mayonnaise in the coffee. Brr, take him third. Nonsense.
Yeah,
Nonsense.
well, I would. Yeah,
Well, yeah. No, you would. Oh, yeah. You'd sell the
I would.
farm for
Yeah,
Will Levis.
no, I would. Green Bay, New England, we already talked about kind of out of order. So we'll get back in draft order here with the Packers. Let's not lie, the Packers need a ton. Now, to me, I really love the cornerback from Maryland, Deontay Banks. This is a spot I could see him going. I think he's a very underrated player. To me, he's a top 20 player easily. They have Jair Alexander, but their defense leaves a lot to be desired. They probably need defensive line more as they gave up like the most rushing yards in the NFL last year. I mean, they were atrocious on the defensive line. So I could see them adding that. But Deontay Banks is the player I have for them here. I really like Banks's game. Maryland's come up with some decent players these last couple of years, and Deontay Banks, boy, you watch his game. I really like this kid.
I could see,
Cornerback 3, in my opinion.
I could see Banks or Joey Porter Jr. my QB1.
Woof. Woof.
No, he's not my cornerback one. He's my overall player number one. Go Nittany Lions. No, I for some reason I think they go offense here. I think it's an all-out push to try and help out Jordan Love, and I think it starts with a tight end, Dalton Kincaid, who I was talking about a couple picks prior. I think he's a guy that can block, and he can catch. He can run routes. He can help in the run game. He's that all-around tight end that you really do have to game plan for. It's not just he does one thing specifically well. He does everything like really solid. And I think all around tool asset like that. I like Kincaid here.
Yeah, he's your guy. I know you love this tight end. You love these guys, so
yeah. You get me watching a tight end all day.
Next up on the board, the Washington Commanders. Excuse me. This is a spot I see for your man O'Cyrus Torrence. They really need offensive line help. They almost got Wentz killed last year.
You know what this screams, Rob? Doesn't this scream? And you correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't this scream Joey Porter Jr.?
Oh, it does. It does. They need cornerback help.
Scream
too. It does.
Oh, we need cornerback help.
It does. To me, I think they need offensive line more, but I'm an offensive line mongo. But O'Cyrus Torrence is the guy I had written down for them here. I really think they need help there. But you're right. Him or Joey Porter Jr. in that spot definitely feels like a Washington pick. Porter also feels like a Pittsburgh pick, too.
Yeah.
Next up, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Listen, Pickett had a decent rookie season last year. It wasn't terrible. They were a different team when they got Watt back. They lost some players in free agency. They picked up some. I thought Selamalo was a great pickup for their offensive line. I thought Harris got it going the second half of the season. This is a spot I could see them going cornerback, or this is a spot I could honestly see them sticking and staying with the offensive line and going at tackle. This is the spot where I thought they'd go Jones from Ohio State, to be honest with you. I think he fits for them right here. To me, it's offensive line help for them.
I went a little bit different from you. Because to me, if you're getting to DeJuan Jones, why wouldn't you pick Anton Harrison? I'm not over the moon thrilled about, I've got me the 5th best tackle in the first round.
Yeah, but tackles are like quarterbacks. They go higher than people think.
No, and that's fair. But I think I would probably try and focus on a position that I could really benefit. And quite frankly, I'm looking at it. I would probably zero in on a guy I've kind of always appreciated, but I know a lot of folks are up and down on him. But I'd maybe take a shot on Brian Brzee, D-tackle.
Oh, I like Brzee. Yeah, Brzee's a nice player.
I think he fits their scheme quite nicely. And that D line, they just need to beef up that D line as much as they possibly can, because Watt's going down again. I mean, we know that. I mean, how many games has he missed in the last 2
Yeah,
years?
he misses a lot of games. Good player, but he misses a ton of games.
Beef up that
There's-
D line. I like Brzee here.
All right. Next up on the board, the Lions. This is where I see them taking a tight end. This is where I see Michael Mayer. I mean, this is where I see
Forward
Mayer
down
stepping
the
in.
field,
Yeah, this is it. This
perpetual
is it.
sadness
You
will
get
never
Goff. You get
yield.
Goff that safety blanket. This is the perfect spot for a tight end. You know, whether you like Tucker Kraft better, whether you like Michael Mayer better, you know, or Darrell Washington. I mean, listen, Darnell Washington, excuse me. Those are the three best tight ends in this draft, in my opinion. I'm a Mayer guy. I think Mayer's tight end 1. I think this is where the Lions go.
Where did the Patriots pick in the first round?
14th.
Okay, so 14. I think we actually skipped them. I think.
I talked about them. I put them at 13 by accident when I said Quentin Johnson.
Oh, okay, my bad. Just as a rehash, Mayer does make sense here because in my mind, Kincaid's gone, and I think Darnell Washington's the first tight end picked. But he strikes me as a Patriots guy. I'm looking at my list. Yeah, let's get a tight end. Hell, let's get a running back. Why don't we get a running back? Why don't we get Bijan? I look at it like at this point, you could make a case that Mayer makes sense. It does. You could slot him in first day at tight end, but the offense worked fine with the tight ends we had last year. I think Bijan makes a ton of sense if you're going to let DeAndre Swift go. Granted, DeAndre Swift is a completely different running back. And then it begs the question, why did you get David Montgomery? Why'd you spend the money on him if you ended up?
Yeah, very odd. Yeah.
It would be very
and
odd.
they gave Montgomery pretty solid money. Like it wasn't a penny type deal.
No. He's not getting pittance. Yeah, you know who's still on the board who I would pick though? If I'm running the draft, I ain't picking Mayer. I'm going to the defending national champions, and I'm picking up Nolan Smith. If he's still there,
oh yeah.
Because and I'll tell you this, I just need speed. I need outside speed. Those linebackers they have look like they're stuck in quicksand sometimes. Give me outside speed. I'd love to see Nolan Smith here. But
Smith's an outside guy I see going to the Eagles too at 10, honestly. I think he could go that high. I don't think he's worth a top 10 pick, but he's got the speed too. I mean, if he can ever put it together.
Well, I mean, how could you replace TJ Edwards now?
Oh, that's true. I know that's right. Next up here, we got the Seattle Seahawks, another team that benefits from 2 first-round picks. I mean, you could mix it up here and really go anywhere with this team. I could see a wide receiver taken. I could see another cornerback taken. If I'm drafting here, honestly, this is a spot where I see a Kelee Ringo, a Brian Branch, something like that.
Kelee Ringo is not going in the first round. I could see Brian Branch. Kelee Ringo's not going in the first round. Kelee, I'll make you that. I'll bet you right now. Kelee Ringo's not going in the first round.
Okay, you got a lunch bet on that.
Okay, sounds good.
He goes in the first round. Next up, this is where I thought Bijan would go. Bijan, excuse me. The Chargers.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know why I say Bijan. I don't know. It must be my Jersey dumbness. This is a spot I see, or I see Jordan Addison here. This is a spot I love for Jordan.
They moved Eckler, right?
No, they haven't moved Eckler yet. He wants to get traded. He wants a contract. So,
I mean, as long as you got Eckler,
yeah.
Why until you can get a move set in place and knowing what you're going to do with Eckler? I guess Bijan makes sense there. I don't think wide receiver is the answer there.
Next up, the Ravens. Interesting spot. They
Jesus.
already picked up Beckham with one of the worst contracts I ever seen for that absolute clown who didn't deserve that deal, but whatever. He got it. So I
I'll
don't
give
see
you a
them
name.
taking a wide receiver in the first round. To me, they still need offensive line help. Ronnie Stanley is never healthy. I see an offensive lineman here, whether it be a guard, tackle. You got to block for Lamar. Lamar's been getting banged up the past few years. You got to invest more in that offensive line. That's what I see here. I see them going offensive line.
Anton Harrison makes sense, but I'll give you a name that's a little bit out of left field. Why not Jahmyr Gibbs? Look at Dobbins.
Yeah,
Dobbins is perpetually hurt. Gus Edwards perpetually hurt.
That's a nice pick. I could see that for them. After that, we'll go with Minnesota here. Minnesota's got to be all defense.
It has to be.
I mean, when Daniel Jones rips your ass in a playoff game, the whole defensive staff should have been fired after that game. That was embarrassing the way that defense played. They were atrocious. I'm going to give you an outside shot. This is a guy I love in this draft. Stu's going to laugh at me. He was an Alabama guy. I love Drew Sanders. Drew Sanders is my linebacker one. Love the speed on this kid. Love his arm size. I mean, he's impressive. You turn on the film, I'm telling you right now, Drew Sanders is impressive. He's going to be a player in this league. He's one of my favorite draft guys.
Why am I going to laugh at you? I think Drew Sanders is just fine. Okay. That pick makes sense. I was actually going to say Drew Sanders. No, it makes sense.
New York Giants next up. I don't want them getting Jordan Addison. Feels like a Giants pick, and it's going to be like a Hakeem Nicks where they steal him.
I think it has to be Addison. No, because I Addison or Quentin Johnson, one of the two. And
here's the thing with them though. The interior of their line stinks. Okay, well, it stinks. They lost Nick Gates. Now Andrew Thomas is one of the best left tackles. They struck gold with him. Neal, I'll give a break to. He's a rookie. Neal got abused in a couple of those games where I seen him versus Reddick. I mean, I felt bad for the kid, to be honest with you. So his head was in a fucking spin cycle.
So I think if you're going interior, Minnesota's center.
Yes.
Yeah, was it Simmons starts with an S?
I got to get his name right here. Hold on. It's hard for me to evaluate centers, to be honest with you.
Or the kid
that and guard, I struggle with. I mean,
or the kid from North Dakota State, Mauk, who got a lot of rave reviews.
I'm getting my centers up here. That's where I think the Giants need to go. The interior. Listen, you're paying Barkley $10 million. That kind of West Coast spread offense that they play.
I think you go interior offensive. It doesn't matter if Danny Jones has a rookie wideout out there. I think you build that line more. I think you have to go interior offensive line. Because if you put Quentin Johnson out there, it's not like, oh boy, look at the Giants. Look at Daniel Jones. He's now a perennial first team All-Pro.
John Michael is the center from Minnesota. I'm a big fan of Joe Tittman from Wisconsin. I love my Big Ten lineman. Pittman's a really nice player. I could see him there too. So those two guys who I'd look out for the Giants or a wide receiver. I know Giants fans pain and looking for a wide receiver because I've been there for many years until we made the A.J. Brown trade. And I hope they had the same luck we did. I hope they draft another Jalen Reagor. Fuck them. The next pick after that is the Dallas Cowboys. Let's hope they take away their first round pick for doing something stupid, but they probably won't. Dallas is a team that, I mean, obviously we know they don't win in the playoffs, but they do draft well. One thing about Dallas, they always take best player available. They very rarely get cute and make like really dumb decisions. They're a team that really drafts well. This is a spot I see for a tight end.
I think the top three are gone, and it really depends on what you feel about, Musgrave from Oregon State or Laporta from Iowa. I'm not a huge fan. Where I see him going, You look at where did Jerry go to school? And I'm not talking about the school where he didn't let black people into. I'm talking about
Wow.
his college. Well, no, he was there. He was in the picture.
It was there. It was there.
He was
We
there. He was
see it.
there.
He was there.
Allegedly. I think Drew Sanders makes a ton of sense here.
Yeah,
Arkansas guy, that would make a lot of sense. And I'll give you an offensive pick. This is a player I think there's a real chance there is under 4 wide receivers taking, or under. I'll put the under 3.5, under 3.5 wide receivers in the first round. I think this, to me, is the second wide receiver off the board. I think Zay Flowers makes a ton of sense for the Cowboys.
I could see it. I could see it.
In a slot role. And we saw him.
That's kind of
he is
CD's
talented.
spot, though.
He
That's
is
kind of
talented.
CD's role, though. Yeah. I could also see Quentin Johnson if he falls. Yeah, there's some interesting, even Sam Laporta from Iowa, the tight end. There's some interesting.
I just wasn't a fan of Laporta, and maybe it's just because he had
the Iowa offense
me and you.
Yes. Yeah, no, the Iowa offense. Come on. Next up, the Buffalo Bills. I see a running back here. Buffalo needs a running back. This is where I had Gibbs going. Hell, I could even see them reaching in and taking, he's not going to go in the first round, but a running back that my man Judd has been pumping to me the entire time for UCLA. And I was shocked yesterday that Dane Brugler had him as running back 3. He won't go in the first round, but Charbonnet from UCLA is a guy that a lot of people like. What's your thoughts on Charbonnet? I like him. I don't think he's first round. I like him.
I think he is a reformed piece of shit. And
you hate Michigan guys, so there you go. He's an
no, it has nothing to do with that. Where he originally went to school, I think he's okay. I think he's for me, and it depends on the offense that you're trying to get. Are you looking for a guy that'll carry the ball 270 times a year and average 3.4 a carry? Okay, well then Zach Charbonnet might be your guy, right? If you're looking for somebody that's more dynamic in the passing game and that has a lot of speed and can stretch the outside, then Zach Charbonnet might not be your guy.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a mix in between the two, I would direct you to Tyjae Spears from Tulane.
Can you imagine Gibbs in this offense with Josh Allen catching the ball?
Yeah, I think Gibbs makes a ton of sense here.
Oof, does that not just feel like a perfect fit?
Yeah, I mean, and they haven't spent big picks on running backs. I mean, Singletary was like
they're a lot
pick.
like
Zach Moss was a 4th round pick.
Absolutely.
I think they definitely could use that A Chain. Jahmyr
you're speaking
Gibbs.
my language now. Devon's my boy. I love Devon.
But that's a second round play. That's a second round play.
Yeah, Devon's. I see the smile on my face. I love Devon AJ.
I think
the Bengals up
what?
Next.
Could I give you a name for the Bills?
Go ahead.
Go
ahead.
BJ Ujulari from LSU. I think killed the Bills against the Bengals. They could not generate pass rush. They really could
I was
not.
hoping he got till 30, you bastard, but go ahead.
But that's where I would go. Possibly a linebacker here. But the linebacking core is so putrid that I think you could wait to take a project. Outside of Drew Sanders and maybe one other guy, maybe Trent Simpson. I don't know.
Yeah, not great.
No.
Not great. The Bengals up next. This is the spot I had Miles Murphy going to, or Brian Breeze. I think it's the perfect spot for them. I think the Bengals need help on that defensive line. They struggle to get Mahomes, just like we did in the championship game. And to me, they got to beef up that defensive line. To me, I think this is the perfect spot for a Miles Murphy.
Well, they certainly filled their offensive tackle issues. I see Tittman, John Michael, somebody going in here in the middle. I think it's all about the offensive line. I think you overprotect Burrows.
Mhm.
Burrows will make up for a lot of issues. You know, if you can protect a quarterback for 5 Mississippi, there's a lot of wide receivers in the NFL that can get open. Okay. There's a lot of
True.
things you can do. If you're
True.
playing the 3 Mississippi, there's going to be some issues. But if I'm the Bengals, I keep going offensive. I will build the world's greatest offensive line. And give me John Michael from Minnesota or Tittman from Wisconsin.
The Saints here, interesting play for the Saints. They go all in with a Derek Carr. They kind of remind me of the Colts a couple of years ago. They're trying to make it work with one of these veteran quarterbacks. This is an interesting spot. For me, this is where I had Zay Flowers going. I think they could use help on the outside.
Makes sense.
I could also see a Keon White from Georgia, somebody like that. I think it'll be D-line or wide receiver, honestly. I'm just not a big Derek Carr guy, but they do have a solid team, the Saints. Their defense is really good. It's really underrated. I saw him kick the shit out of Gardner Minshew at the Link New Year's Day. I don't think they're a terrible team. Last year, the quarterback play obviously horrific. Thanks for the top 10 pick, but that's where I see them going here. This is where I had the Zay Flowers pick.
That makes a ton of sense. I'm not gonna argue that at all. I could also see, like you said, I think Keon White is definitely in play for the back end of the first round. I think that is a guy who is very raw, but there is talent there.
Yeah. 30, the Eagles again. I was hoping Ojulari would last. You had him going here. This is a spot I will say, if Porter's still available, I wouldn't mind grabbing a Porter here. I'm more of a Brian Branch. The safety position is a position.
You want to take a Penn State player?
30, I wouldn't mind.
Oh my God!
He's gonna go.
All right, I'm calling Bob right now. I'm calling your father. You're getting in trouble right after this show.
That's right. Brian Branch, I really like in this spot, but I doubt he's going to last.
He's not here by this.
He's not here. I would love to get a safety, but it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, Roseman probably, knowing him, will trade back.
I guess you got to take a look at. What do you think about Manuel Forbes? I know you said Keely Ringo. I don't think Keely. I don't think Keely Ringo.
He's a guy. He's a guy. He's a guy I want to move to safety. Keely Ringo. I think Keely Ringo at the next level is going to be a safety.
You'll get him. You'll get him second, third round. He'll be there. He'll be there if you want him.
Promise me.
I wouldn't actually mind seeing them continually.
How about Cam Smith? We haven't talked about Cam Smith. He's been up and down boards. The cornerback from South Carolina.
He's small.
He's small. Yeah.
Small. He's just too small.
It's a knock. I'll take Antonio Johnson is a safety I like. I would not mind taking. I don't think he's first round, but I like Antonio Johnson. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to make a prop bet on this. We're going to do a draft prop bet show too. Don't worry about it. The Chiefs right here, I'm telling you right now, okay? They're going with Jalen Hyatt right here. This is Andy Reid. This is his Todd Pinkston. Andy Reid loves speed. He loves somebody that can stretch the field. Jalen Hyatt is his pick right here at 31. I'm telling you.
All right. I see. For me, I look at the Chiefs, and if Gibbs is still on the board, I think.
How dare you?
Gibbs is a
How dare they have a top 2 back in the NFL?
The Chiefs?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Pacheco is anti, what Andy Reid stands for in his ethos. There's a reason they drafted Edwards-Helaire, but through the injuries, Edwards-Helaire is not the dude he was coming out of LSU.
Yes. Well, and Andy would always have, when he had Westbrook, he had Carell Buckhalter. Andy always, early on, Andy had Westbrook, he had Dorsey Levens. Andy loves a straight ahead runner that gets the yards, and he likes somebody to boogie out of the backfield and catch the ball. I could
I don't
see.
know that
I could
Edwards
definitely see
Hilaire
Gibbs.
is it anymore, and people
He
will
stinks.
forget.
He stinks.
Well, I think the injuries did him in, Rob. His
Yeah.
rookie
Oh,
season, he was phenomenal. And he
Like
served
any
that
other
role.
back. It's like any other back. It's the injuries.
I think maybe if Jahmyr Gibbs was on the board, yes, 100%. But yeah, they're going offense here. They let some pieces go. Miko Hardman's gone, etc. I think Jalen Hyatt makes a ton of sense here. So I completely agree with you there.
Absolutely.
All right, that's it, man. That's it. It only took us 45 minutes to do our dissertations. That's our mock draft. We got somebody coming on next week, right, Rob?
Yeah, we got a draft guy coming on. My man Justin. He was on my Philly Mongo show. He does a great podcast, and he's all about the draft. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And we got college football it's not too far away. Okay,
It's not.
Let's talk about some of the folks we're talking to. Our friend SEC Mike. You can catch him on the Paul Feinbaum show. He's doing holy shit. The Tigers are up 3-1.
Look out,
Okay.
Tigers baseball, baby.
They're AIDS. They are the worst. But yeah, college football, we got to get that talk back up. We're trying to get a couple coaches on the shows this offseason. So this might be your home for offseason football talk, in addition to the ponies running in circles and the occasional baseball chat. But stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff going here on the Rob and Stu Show, only on the Paul Sports Network. Check us out, like and subscribe. And for Roberto, I am Stu saying take care, brush your hair. We'll see you after a while.